Hey Starlights, welcome to your July 2025 horoscope. My name is Lumi Pelinku, resident astrologer here at Brit+Co, and I am so excited to guide you through this month's rich and rare celestial energy. We've got a once-in-a-lifetime transit, two major retrogrades, and powerful moon moments that will shift the way you love, think, and lead. So grab your iced coffee or tea, settle in, and let's explore your Sage Girl summer together, where the universe invites you to pause, pivot, and rise. Before we dive in, please sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you're calling in for this month. I would love to hear how the stars are aligning for you. We begin July still swimming in the soothing, intuitive waters of Cancer season. This is a time for reflection, comfort, and coming home to yourself. Emotional awareness is the compass this month, and try not to ignore what your heart is trying to tell you. This is also a time for you to engage much more with your inner child work. If ever you're feeling guided to actually go through meditation work, artistic pursuits, anything that makes you feel safe, cradled, or comfortable. This is the kind of activities that you can engage with in order for you to flow through Cancer season in a much more intuitive kind of way. And Jupiter entered the sign of Cancer around the end of June, a placement it's exalted in. This brings abundant blessings around the home, emotional healing, and family. Expansion, wherever it touches, is through softness now. So try not to speed through things. And if you're feeling guided to start focusing in on your emotional nourishment or the home life, start paying attention to what your intuition's telling you in regards to those things. And the wonderful thing about Jupiter being in the sign of Cancer is that this happens every 12 years, which means that we have this opportunity to become more invested in terms of what aligns more with our heart center, as opposed to what just makes sense in a linear kind of way. And every 12 years, whenever Jupiter does arrive around the sign of Cancer, you'll feel much more comfortable and more centered and more engaged in with the intuitive kind of realms of life. So anything that has to do with like linear thinking or like going with a template or of any way where somebody else is telling you what to do, Jupiter begs to differ. For everybody on a conscious level in the collective, we will become much more invested in terms of intuitive work. We'll become much more invested in self-care work, self-care rituals, and themes where we will provide ourselves more sustenance in order for us to thrive more in our lives. And the great news is Jupiter will expand upon that and help you find the way that will work for you and align for you in a better way. And another incredible thing whenever Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer is your dreams amplify. You'll feel much more inclined in terms of investing time and sustenance into letting your dreams take root. So if ever something is flowing around and coming into the subconscious, start paying attention to that. And it's not to say launch today. It's more of like a little glimmer of a hint for you to pay attention. And as Jupiter starts to advance through the sign of Cancer into this year, into next year, you'll start remembering what you thought of in this moment, because Cancer season is the defining moment for you to start realizing what makes you feel most safe, what makes you most secure. Now, Jupiter will take on whatever idea or clue that you've been receiving around this time. So start paying attention to what's coming up for you lately and write it down. Write it down. It's not to say you run with your idea right now. It's more of like you establishing the seeds and allow it to take root and culminate in the right time that works for you. So as Jupiter does progress through the sign of Cancer into next year, you'll start figuring out what will work for you moving forward. And another incredible transit that's happening this month is Uranus, the planet of breakthroughs and change and innovation, enters the sign of Gemini on July 7th. This is a big one because the last time this happened was in 1941. So this is a once in a lifetime event for you to experience. Expect rapid changes in technology, media, communication, education, and transportation, much more so than what we've experienced in the last 8 years when Uranus was in the sign of Taurus. Uranus and Gemini loves this mix. So expect lots of innovations and lots of advancements in these realms of life. Now, what does this mean for you? It might feel a little disorienting if you're feeling like, how much more can we handle when it comes to advancements in technology? Because it's been fast enough already. Well, Gemini energy, on the plus side, teaches us to become much more curious, agile, and open, teaches us how to be much more playful in whenever these innovative approaches land on our lap. So remember that the more curious you are and open, the more evolved you're going to become. And you'll also become much more inclined to learning how to advance your own forms of communication too. So what does that mean? Well, it could be through you implementing this into your work life. It could also be in terms of you, whenever you are talking to somebody or engaging in collaborations, it's teaching us the importance of becoming more playful in our approaches, not so headstrong or intensive, because Gemini is about lightheartedness. It's all about curiosity, being bubbly, being open, and just exchanging information that will help each other, that will help you and as well as help people that you're working with. So as you're becoming much more curious and open to life, that's when you become more evolved. So start taking this with you. And, Gemini is it's air sign. Air sign is about like expansion. It's about you exploring the different realms of what could be. It's all about possibility as opposed to staying fixated on one thing. So if you're feeling a little stuck at this moment, well, expect the next 8 years for you to be more open to change, more open to evolving yourself and your consciousness, and even your approaches with work and your dealings with people. It's all about you just expanding upon things and matters where you're implementing more curiosity in the mix. So buckle down and start becoming more receptive to these things, because people will become a lot more open-minded and exploring the different realms of what could be, as opposed to exploring the realms of old. So enjoy this transit. Now let's explore Venus and the love themes. Just before Uranus enters Gemini, Venus makes her move into Gemini on July 4th, right after the final connection with Uranus and Taurus at the anaretic degree of 29 degrees. What does that mean? Well, as Venus crosses paths with Uranus on July 4th, this gives off the final understanding, the final awakening in regards to how you relate to connection, value, and freedom. And how do you view relationships here and now? Because it's in the final degree of Taurus on this day, this means that you will have more of an understanding as to where you stand in the realms of love. And also it concludes something in regards to your connections in life with love. What does this mean for us? This creates a love awakening, especially in how we relate to connection, value, and freedom. With Venus and Gemini, relationships will become much more mentally stimulating. And it's all about learning through love, staying lighthearted, and expressing affection through words, laughter, and ideas. Let this be the chapter where you play with perspective and rewrite the way you give and receive love. It's more about connecting with the mind. It's more about connecting with inner child work as well. It's also about you seeing your beloved like a new kind of love. And this is the opportunity for you to explore what you can do together. How do you evolve together through communication? And how do you evolve through playfulness and open-heartedness? And Venus grants you that opportunity for you to ascend your love to a different level. So enjoy the way Venus works through you and your relationships, and even how you view yourself. So if you are single, this is your moment to start exploring love from a different perspective. And this is your chance for you to become much less detached to the outcome and just enjoy love in the purity that it's in. So explore love, be open, be more receptive to information in regards to how you process your emotions, process your dealings, and even process the way you approach love at this part of your life. And this is a new chapter for you. So just enjoy the ride and explore with an open heart. And then you will see what will fulfill you moving forward. On July 10th, the full moon in Capricorn shines a light on your long-term goals, structure, and inner foundation. You'll be asked to check in on with your path. Is it rooted in what truly matters to you? Saturn's the ruler of this full moon, and it's squaring to Jupiter. This means that it will create a tension between expansion and reality. It might feel a little bit like a stick in the mud kind of energy, but try not to let this bog you down because it will help you understand the root triggers of your blockages when it comes to you seeing through with your goals. You might feel both wildly hopeful and slightly blocked. Let this lunation ground you. Write down what you're ready to release, especially around perfectionism, control, or outdated timelines. Remember, aligned progress always starts with letting go. What does that mean? Well, aligned progress meaning your energy has to feel right. If ever you're feeling a resistance or heaviness of any sorts or struggle, it means it's time for you to give a check-in. And this full moon in Capricorn will give you that opportunity for you to see clearly as to what's working and what isn't. So hold steady, understand the line of your structures, and give yourself this feelings of grace wherever you are in your journey. And the full moon will give you that opportunity for you to see with what structure means for you moving forward and how you will want to lead your life and become the CEO of your life. Now, as we progress through July, this is our first retrograde of the month. Saturn will be retrograde in Aries from July 13th to November 28th. It gives us this chance to retrace our steps through Aries. This retrograde is about refining leadership, ambition, and your sense of responsibility. And as it backtracks into the sign of Pisces later this year, you may feel slowed down, but that's the point. Saturn wants you to pause and reflect on the structure behind your goals. Are your efforts aligning with your long-term purpose, or are you just rushing to prove yourself? And this is very much the remnants of what's happening with the full moon in Capricorn. Saturn will step in and give you that lesson in terms of you understanding what is meaningful for you, what is aligning with your path in the most authentic kind of way. And surface-leveled ambition won't hold up. Once Saturn goes back into the sign of Pisces in the last degrees, it will give us a chance to understand what ambition means. This will give us the reality check as to where we stand in terms of the line of our structure. This retrograde strips away the distractions and guides you back to your soul's why. It gives you more of this tracking of what is aligning with you truthfully. And as you take the time in terms of retracing your steps, you will be able to power through any obstacles that you find in your way. And you'll be much more in a aligned path that serves your highest well-being. On July 18th, Mercury begins its retrograde journey on bold, expressive Leo, just days before Leo season officially begins on July 22nd. This retrograde is an invitation for you to reflect on your creativity, your self-expression, and emotional honesty. It's not the best time to launch new projects, but it is a beautiful time to revisit an old idea and to start reconnecting with what lights you up. And ask yourself, am I living authentically or performing a version of myself to gain approval? Use this time to edit, reimagine, and realign. And hold some grace for the stagnancy. Hold some grace in terms of the stillness. This gives you a chance for you to start becoming more intentional in your path. And then on July 24th, the new moon in Leo happens and it arrives like a spotlight on the soul. This is a manifestation moon, fiery, radiant, and heart-centered, with supportive aspects to Neptune and Uranus. This new moon enhances both your intuition and your vision. It's the perfect time to plant seeds for creative projects, confidence breakthroughs, and love-centered goals. Start a dream journal. Craft a vision board or speak your intentions out loud. You're being asked to live like you believe in your brilliance and be bold, be free, release all feelings of doubt because the sky's the limit at this point. So plant those seeds and become much more intentional in your path. And this new moon will grace you lots of incredible opportunities moving forward. On July 30th, Chiron, the wounded healer, begins its retrograde, nudging you inward. The retrograde asks, how do you lead when you're hurt? Do you withdraw, react, or heal and rise? Use this time to integrate past lessons and cultivate gentler strength. And Chiron in the sign of Aries gives you this chance to understand the importance of humility and leadership, And with Chiron being in the sign of Aries, it also sheds the light in terms of how you relate with others. Gives you this chance to become more inward and as well as help you understand the importance of listening and collaborating and becoming more patient in the process when it comes to connecting with others. So have some grace, have some grace for yourself if you're feeling challenged, if you feel challenged at work, if you feel challenged in relationships, if you feel challenged in your dealings in life in general. You don't have to lead at this time. You could take a rest. You're being called to soften, to listen, and respond with patience and grace when tested. You'll also be focusing your intentions on how you relate with others whenever you're confronting challenges. Use this time to integrate past lessons and cultivate gentler strength. Now, to conclude this month, Venus enters the sign of Cancer on July 30th. Wrapping up this month with softness and emotional intimacy, relationships slow down, home becomes a sacred temple. And you may crave safety, touch, and tenderness. It's a perfect energy for self-care. So since Venus is in the sign of Cancer, it's a water sign. So emotions could run high if insecurity creeps in. So try not to cling on too tightly and just trust in the unfolding. It's a sacred time for taking care of yourself and inner reflection and just rekindling the heart's connection. Hold space and patience for wherever you are in your love journey, and you'll be able to cultivate this energy in a much more seamless way. And it's a perfect energy for heartfelt conversations and nourishing love. Hold steady and hold on to the vision as to what makes you feel safe and calm and at peace, no matter where you are. This July is all about awakening and reflection. It's about learning to lead with the heart, stay grounded through change, and honor divine timing, even in the pauses. Thank you so much for watching, Starlights. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the Brit+Co channel, and drop a comment letting me know which transit you're most excited or curious about this month. And don't forget to also check out your full sign-by-sign horoscope over at the Brit+Co column. And I am sending you all the radiant courage, softness, and soul fire for your Sage Girl summer. And until next time.